I would like to begin by introducing you to our Deputy Superintendent, Dr. Delsa Chapman, our Director of Technology, Mr. Jeff Vanderlaan, our Associate Superintendent of Curriculum and Instruction, Dr. Kamala Diaz, our Innovation Improvement Specialist, Mr. Kurt Barnum, Principal of North, Kaylin Jones, and Instructional Coach for Eastern, Elizabeth Ballinger. What is Parent University? We would like to welcome you to our Parent University First Class session entitled Google Classroom 101. Parent University is a new initiative provided through the START grant. The major goal of Parent University is to build partnerships with parents and develop mutual responsibility for the success of our children. Research shows that that students of parents who work collaboratively with schools see higher test scores, higher grades, have better social skills, and adapt well to school. How do we get here? The Lansing School District sees parents as key stakeholders towards the overall success of our students, and we need your support, ideas, and recommendations. We want to ensure that you see us as allies working to provide the best educational opportunities for your child, as well as a positive overall school culture and climate. Where are we going? We will host a series of parenting classes beginning in September on a bi-weekly basis from 5 to 6:30 on select Tuesday nights during the first semester and select Wednesday nights during the second semester of school. These series will be provided to you via our screen-to-screen model with the hopes of coming together face-to-face pending any eases in restrictions as relates to COVID. The goals of these classes are to provide parents with strategies to enhance relationships with their children, gain access to community resources, ask questions, and have a voice in decisions related to your child's social, emotional, and academic achievement. So during this webinar, you can see all of us, the panelists, and you'll be able to hear us. However, we cannot see or hear you. So please continue to have dialogue in the chat. If you have any questions, please place those in the Q&A box. Upon conclusion of the presentation, we will be happy to answer all questions. At this time, I will turn it over to Innovation Improvement Specialist, Mr. Kurt Barnum, who will talk with you about student and parent view. Mr. Barnum.
Good evening, everyone. I'm going to talk about our Parent View system, which is our online communication system for communicating with parents what's going on at school. There's multiple ways to access our Parent View system. You can access it from our district website. At the very top of the page, there are two links called Parent View, Student View, or from the Parents menu. Or you can direct navigate to the site at lansingschools.net/Parent View, Student View. Once on the site, you're going to select whether you're a parent or student, because both parents and students will use the site to access. You'll put in your username and password that's created during the login process. Students have a login district-wide, which is their initials and their student number. Parents will create their login based on a code that is provided to them from their child's school, and I'll give more information later in my presentation on how to get that. When you log in, you will have access to all your enrolled children in one spot. So if you have multiple children within our district, you will see all of their information under one login. We are very excited this year to introduce that parents will now be able to report absences via Parent View. So you will log in, you'll tell us the date the child is gone. You'll even have the ability to provide us with a doctor's note if you have one in a PDF format. Teachers will be able to use the system to send messages to parents. The messages will show up in your Parent View as well as go to your email. Same thing for students. Students will get messages from their teachers on assignments, grades that have been posted. All of that will be available in the system or in their email. There's a calendar within the system the students will be able to use to locate their assignments and their due dates. They can also locate events that are coming up, and they can filter by class or assignment type based on tests, assignments, or homework. The attendance screen allows parents to view the absences that are in our system for their student. You'll notice that my student is absent on the 8th, 9th, and 10th, for example. So parents will be able to log in, see the absences that are on there if we've marked them as excused, unexcused, or tardy. The student's class schedule will be on there, so you'll know exactly what time of the day your student is supposed to be doing what. You can view this by date or by term. You can also chat or email the teacher directly from the screen using the icons next to their name. The course history screen is a visual look at the student's transcript. It tells you exactly where your student is at, percentage-wise, for completing their graduation requirements. And you can even drill down for detailed information as far as what grades they received for those classes. The discipline screen allows parents to monitor discipline that goes on in the schools. You can be notified when a discipline occurs, and you'll even be able to see the student's role in the incident, whether they were at fault or a bystander or witness. The grade book allows parents to monitor their students' grades throughout the term. Student growth charts are available, so you can see how your child's progressing in the term. And you can chat or email with the teacher directly from this screen using the icons. Other things that are available in the system are access to student report cards, school information such as emails, phone numbers, and websites for all building staff, and student information and emergency contacts, so you can see exactly what we have on the system for your child. Account activation can be obtained by contacting your child's school office. We are providing it with your child's school supplies, and the Central Enrollment PACE office also can help you with this information. Mr. Harvell?
Thank you very much, Mr. Barnum. At this time, we will turn it over to Principal Caitlin Jones and Instructional Coach Elizabeth Ballinger for our Google Classroom 101 presentation.
All right, good evening. Kurt, you can go to the next slide, please. Okay, so Google Classroom is the platform that we're going to use for students to interact with their teachers. It's where they'll get their lesson. It's where they will have screen-to-screen or live interaction with their teachers. It's also where they will submit their assignments, where they will view their grades, and use Google Apps to work on their assignments.
So when logging into Google Suites and Google Classroom, you can go back to the other one, Kurt, real quick. Thank you. Just a warning, students cannot use their personal email. So in the spring, kids were having a hard time getting in. All Lansing School District kids have a Lansing School District email, and that is the email that students need to use to log into their accounts. The recommended browser is Google Chrome and not Firefox or Explorer. So when logging in, students are going to use their school district email, which is their first and last initial and their student number at stu.lansingschools.net. All passwords have been reset to their first and last initial in their birthday. So if they were born on August 7th, they'll use 0807. So if students had a previous password, make sure they use that new password to log in now. If you have trouble logging in, there is a password account that you can go to. There's on the bottom of the screen that URL that you can go to get help with passwords. There's also a guide on our Lansing School District Facebook page and on the website for you to get the login information, and it will be given out during technology distribution.
Okay, so logging in and finding Google Classroom, you can go to the next slide. Google Chrome is the preferred browser. So you also have the option of Internet Explorer or Firefox, but preferably you want to use Google Chrome. And the icon looks like the one on the screen because it's a Google product. You can log in, you can go to the next one. You can log in either using www.classroom.google.com, or we can show you how to locate it. If you look at the bottom of the screen, there are those 9 dots and they look like a waffle. Students can click on that, and then the drop down will show you what Google Classroom looks like if we go to the next slide. Oh, okay, so logging in, you'll see a little icon that says sign in, and you can sign in using that same login information. So using that first initial, last initial, student number at stu.lansingschools.net. But please remember that you cannot use your personal Google account to sign in, like on the previous slide. So you will have to go back and select choose another account. So you'll go up to that right-hand corner, and if you are signed in with your personal, you would click on the little initial, your first initial, and drop down and choose a different account. Okay, so clicking on the waffle, you have all of these icons that'll show up. And if you scroll down, you'll see probably more icons. These are things that your student's teacher will be using either to complete assignments or to do presentations for them. So Google Slides is like the Google version of PowerPoint. Google Docs is like the Google version of Microsoft Word. So get familiar with these icons prior to the first day of school, and I'm sure your student's teacher will be walking them through each icon that's necessary for the assignment. Again, there's that waffle, those 9 dots that you'll see, and these will drop down and show you all of the icons. Google Classroom, this is where you're going to access the instruction. So you want to get familiar with that icon, and then the next screens will show you how to get into the classroom.
So joining your classes and to make sure you're on Google Classroom, there are 2 different ways. One way is your teacher will give you a code from their Google Classroom, and you'll have to click the plus sign that's under that that's on top of the number 1. You'll hit that plus sign and enter that code, and then you'll join that Google Classroom. Another way is that the teacher will automatically add your student into Google Classroom, and that's under number 2 where it says join class. That means the teacher has already added your student into that class, and they'll just have to join the class and they're all set to go. And then the 3 shows where you type in that code and able to get into there. Now, if you're a parent wondering if you can also be on Google Classroom with your student, you can. Just let their teacher know your email address, and they can add you on the parent side of Google Classroom. They have that capability, but just let them know your email address. For the high school and some middle schools, they will have 8 or 7 different codes to add, or they'll have 7 or 8 different classes that will be on their Google screen. Younger out, they'll have only 1 class and 1 teacher and 1 code. You can go to the next slide. Now, once you're in the class, or if you have multiple classes, you'll see that you'll have a bunch of classes. So this student has 2 different classes. They have Algebra 2 and Geometry with Miss Ballinger. So you'll see all their classes listed, and then to get into that class, they're just gonna click on the Algebra 2 or the Geometry, and it will take them automatically into that Google Classroom for them. So once they click into that class, it will look like, you can head to the next slide. This will, oh, it's still this one. So this is still on the outside. They have multiple classes. Also on that screen where all their classes are, you'll see where it says class files. All of the teachers' lessons will be recorded, and they'll be put into that file for you to view on a different date. So if your student couldn't make a class or they were absent, something came up, they can always click on those class files and they'll be able to view that lesson from that teacher. You can also see the grade book. It is that little squiggly dot. You can click on that and your student's grade book will come up. In the top left-hand corner where it says classroom menu, that menu will always take you back to this screen where all the classes are listed for your student. So once you're in class, you click that menu and it can take you back out. And then once again, that create or join a class, that plus sign, you always will have your waffle. So if you want to go to another one of the apps in Google Suites, you can click on that waffle and get to one of the other apps. And then the class options are those 3 little dots. If you click on that, it will give you some options for those classes. Last but not least, the help and feedback portion in the bottom left-hand corner, That is going to take you to help with Google, not the Lansing School District. So if you have a question with Google, you can, or reach out to them, but reach out to us or your child's teacher so we can help you as quickly as possible. Now, once you're in once you've hit one of those classes, you'll now see a screen pop up like this. That stream is like a Facebook or a Twitter or an Instagram pictures. It's all the announcements and things the teacher has posted. Sometimes teachers will allow students to comment on there. Sometimes they won't. Assignments will be posted, videos, extra links, maybe an extra video to explain the lesson will all be underneath that stream. The most important part is that classwork, the one next to the stream, that's going to be where all the assignments are listed for your child. So they'll have due dates there, upcoming assignments, previous assignments, and all of that for you. Where it says a Google Applied Digital Skills and you click next to there, that will take you back to the previous screen we were just on. You can head to the next screen. Now, this is once you're in that assignment tab. So you'll see that there's 4 assignments here listed for your student. You'll notice that next to the could you assign this to your students, it's missing. So that's telling you that your child did not turn that assignment in yet. And then you'll notice during the what lessons look like interesting, it says done late. So that lets you know, that teacher let you know that your child did turn that assignment in, but it wasn't turned in by the due date. On the left-hand side during filters, you can filter those assignments to just the ones they assigned. You want to know which ones are missing, click the missings tab and just their missing assignments will show up for you there. You'll see also next to the what the lessons look like interesting, there's a little 1 with a comment. That means the teacher left some feedback for you and your child to look at for them. Next, when viewing assignments, you can see there is, when you click on the assignment, this states quiz. This was a quiz, so it was automatically graded. So they got a 1 out of 6. Not every assignment in Google, let's say we turned in a paper, that assignment won't be automatically graded from the teacher. But if it is a quiz, they can automatically get their score back from the teacher. If you click on the assignment, they will be able to view any feedback the teacher gave them for that assignment. And then you'll notice all that assignment was returned. It has that green return, so you know the teachers returned that assignment. On the right-hand side, you'll see your students, all their assignments in their grades. So right now, Andy has an 80% in this class. I don't know what class it is, but it gives all their assignments with their current grade listed.
Okay, so Google Meet is going to be where video instruction is taking place. This is where your student will have that face-to-face interaction with their teacher, similar to what we're doing right now. A couple ways to join. So you can either click on the Meet link that is found on the Google Classroom. It'll show up at the top, or the teacher might send you a nickname to join the class. So once you click on the icon, you click on the waffle, click on Google Meet, and then the teacher might give you a nickname to put in. Then you're gonna click Join Now. Now, if the teacher's not there yet, it won't allow you to join yet. So you'll be waiting for the teacher to start the class. Next.
Google Slides. Google Slides are one of the apps in Google Suites for your child to use. It's like PowerPoint and Microsoft Office. You can click on that waffle and scroll down, and the slides button is circled with that yellow. Students can work on a presentation together and they don't have to be next to each other. In order to share a presentation with another student, they'd hit that share button, type in that student's email, and then they both can collaborate on that assignment together, working at the exact same time. Teachers may use Google Slides also as a collaborative way, interactive way for students to do lessons. So they may share some slides with students and interactively work with them on whatever the lesson is for that day. To start a new Google Slides presentation, you're gonna hit that plus button where it's on blank and it will add a new presentation for you. This will always be saved in Google Suites for you, so you don't have to save it. It's automatically there. You can leave it, go away, and you can start back up where you left off.
Okay, so similar to Google Slides, Google Docs is the Google version of Microsoft Word. So students can complete assignments in here, or a teacher might have already created an assignment that the student has to add to. Again, with those shared settings, you're gonna find a similar share button here, and they can type in either their classmates' email address so they can collaborate on a document, or they can share it with their teacher so that they can see the assignment. So they have to share it so they can access their assignment. And just like Google Slides, you don't have to save it. So like with Microsoft Word, sometimes you get kicked off and it won't save. This saves automatically as well.
So last but not least, one thing I forgot to mention, when students are submitting assignments, make sure you hit that submit key in Google Classroom, because if you don't, you'll say you submitted it and the teacher will be like, I didn't get it. So make sure you hit that submit key so it goes to your teacher. But you can access these Google Suites, Google Classroom, Google Docs, Google Slides on a tablet, a desktop, an iPhone, a Chromebook, and Android. On the iPhone, Android, and tablet, you download those apps individually and work off them. I would, for my student right now, get a Chromebook from our district technology distribution. But if you are like on the road somewhere real quick, they can work on an assignment real quick on their phone. That is all we have for you. Thank you guys for having us.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Ballinger and Mrs. Jones, for that wonderful presentation. At this time, if we can have all parents please continue to place your questions in our Q&A box. We're going to begin to go over the questions now. We have a fabulous panel of experts who will be happy to provide the information you are looking for.